What's up, gamers and geeks? Matt here with That's Fair Podcasting and Gaming Geeks Live. Now, in the past, I have covered a few of the Assassin's Creed games, and I've even covered the rumors that had originally surrounded the Black Flag Remake. But in this video, I'm going to talk about Ubisoft and their actual confirmation that Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced is indeed coming out. Now, you got to give the dire straits that Ubisoft, they're in right now. Let's start with the 2024 disastrous releases of Skull and Bones and Star Wars Outlaws. Not to mention last year, they haven't even made up the deficit it cost them for Assassin's Creed Shadow and not even breaking even with that game. So it does beg the question, will you buy Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced? Stay tuned. Now, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced is coming out is not a remaster. It's a complete remake. And much of the format that we fell in love with this fan favorite back in the day, it has changed. But if you are new here, please feel free to subscribe to That's Fair Podcasting or Gaming Geeks Live. Please like my video like you do. You help me in that algorithm, and I sincerely appreciate that. And if you don't do any of those and you just hear yet another video on Assassin's Creed Resynced coming out, Black Flag, thanks for sticking with me. I sincerely appreciate it. Now, what is changing with Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced? We'll start obvious with the one that has made fans a little bit upset over the course of the rumors that have been coming out, and this more or less coming out to be true, and that's they're incorporating RPG mechanics into Black Flag that we got in the likes of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Valhalla, and I guess Shadows. Now, a lot of fans aren't really happy about that, and I've said this in the past. The RPG mechanics itself, it's not enough to throw me off. I actually don't mind. I thought Ubisoft did a pretty damn good job with the whole RPG mechanics of it. I didn't mind it. And so I'm kind of welcoming that as a change of pace for Edward Kenway. Probably an unpopular opinion, but that is the way it is. I've always felt that as an RPG fan. Now, obviously, we're going to get upgraded graphics, massive, like Unreal Engine 5. We're supposed to get like 4K with 60 FPS is the rumor. And if that's the case, that is an absolute winner in my book as well, because look, I'm a huge fan of the Caribbean. I just got off a cruise. Me and my wife Mandy go every year, sometimes every 2 years, but lately it's been every year. And we've been to the Caribbean now 5 different times with different stops. So I get it in real life, but look, with 60 FPS with 4K updated graphics from Unreal Engine 5, and you're gonna bring the Caribbean back, to me, that is just the ultimate win-win, especially in the age of piracy. Now, some of the gameplay overhauls are as follows. They're taking away pretty much all of the modern day gameplay that we got when we were going back into the present day with Abstergo. And that's another thing that I really don't have a problem with. That some people I've been reading on social media sites that have been commenting on this, because I like to hear a lot of people's feedbacks on what they think because I use it in the videos. And there's a lot of people that aren't excited about that. I think a lot of people are getting partial to the Abstergo thing. I think that shit went out the window when they killed Desmond Miles off. I was not happy about that. That absolutely sucked ass. So what it's going to do is focus on all of the age of piracy and Edward Kenway in that era, and no modern day stories with Abstergo. So I'm okay with that. And obviously there's going to be a lot of expanded pirate content. I'm not exactly sure what they really mean on that, except for the fact that it's going to be pretty much taking place in the modern era of piracy. I say modern, I shouldn't even say modern era, but I guess you can. I just know that in the age of piracy, it's going to focus solely on that. And I'm looking forward to that. And there's ultimately the promise of more side missions that I've been reading about on many different sites. So you couple all that together, you're taking out the modern day gameplay of Abstergo, you're gonna add more side missions, keeping it in the golden age of piracy. That's what I was looking for, golden age, not modern age. I think, to me, so far, none of this is a bad selling point. All of this actually is moving upwards and a positive selling point in my book. The map itself isn't aiming to be any bigger. So we're not looking at an Odyssey type of map. It's going to be the same size map. However, they're giving you a much larger sense of exploration with more dense islands. And there's going to be more to do on each of these islands than just, I think, if I remember correctly, it was a lot of pigeon missions. Running that, obviously running to checkpoint, picking up, shanties when you can. And it's going to be more than that. There's going to be more aimed at you to do on each of these islands. And these islands are going to be, from what I read, more populated. And it's, they're always, there's people always moving about it. They're bustling. All these islands will continually be bustling and being alive with people. But more to do on each of these islands with more side quests. So, guys, again, so far, everything I've covered is not a bad point. It's all a selling point, and I'm sold. That's not to say I'm not going to get to some shite, but, we'll get there. Combat. This is where things are going to get a little bit worse. They're going away from their choreographed, routine combat moves and combos that we got with Edward Kenway, with the cutlasses, I believe that's what the swords are called, or the rapiers. It's not going to be the choreographed moves. It's going to be the modern RPG mechanics that we're used to, with the sense of Alexios and or Cassandra and Eivor from obviously Odyssey and Valhalla. So it's giving us the RPG mechanics of combat, which I'm not too happy about. I would prefer to keep the choreographed moves and combos that they gave Edward Kenway. So it's going to be more of a free roam, free movement type of thing. There's the red flag in my book. I wish they could have kept the combat the same. I love using combos with Edward Kenway. He was a badass. And yeah, so we're going to get, as far as the combat mechanics, it's going to be more of the RPG mechanics that we were forced to have with obviously Odyssey and Valhalla. Now, when boarding ships and entering land, there's no loading screens anymore. From what I read, another selling point here, they're doing away with any and all of the loading screens from, the unique ways of boarding ships and going to land. No loading screens, so we'll start there. And there's going to be a heavier emphasis with hours added content and some of Edward Kenway's story with Mary Read. There was supposed to, I guess, be more in the original Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but it was held out. So they're going to have a heavier emphasis on the whatever kind of friendship or relationship between Edward Kenway and Mary Read, and the loading screens are going away when entering boats, entering cabins, and entering land. Now, Ubisoft has finally confirmed this. It's been on social media as of late last week. You can see it on all the social media sites and all the Ubisoft sites. They're finally confirming Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Now, they need a win. And the reason I say they need a win, because again, I mentioned 2024, the debacle that was Skull and Bones, the first quadruple A video game, and then Star Wars Outlaws that failed miserably, to Assassin's Creed Shadows, costing them anywhere from 250 to 300 million to make, and they didn't even break even on that with the copies sold. So Ubisoft is in dire straits. They've closed down a couple of studios. They've laid off people, I believe over 100 people now, which doesn't really put a dent in the size that Ubisoft is overall. But studios have also been shut down because of this. Now, Assassin's Creed Hexa is being worked on, and it was supposed to emphasize a heavier, which I don't have a problem with. It's just that with the way Ubisoft is going, it is modernized to push a progressive message, but it was supposed to be the heaviest lesbian, I guess, Assassin's Creed, emphasizing heavy, strong, feminine ties all the way around. And some of the people overseeing that project were removed because Tencent, formed with Ubisoft, called Vantage Studios, decided, no, that's not going to work. So they brought in a couple of developers from the original Assassin's Creed Black Flag and from Origins to come in and start overseeing this. So guys, I don't know what that means down the road for Assassin's Creed Hexa, which is basically focusing on the witch hunts of the European times way back in like 500 or 600 years ago, which, at the time, let's be realistic, witches were mostly female that were, getting the brunt of the executions. But I don't know what that means. It means there's a lot of changing going on right now in Assassin's Creed Hexa that I'll cover in a later video. Maybe it means we could have a male protagonist as well. I don't know. I just know that they're bringing older devs to bring them in and try to re-jumpstart Assassin's Creed Hex, because it doesn't look like Vantage Studios liked where it was headed. Now, originally when these rumors started about Assassin's Creed Black Flag, at that time remake, it was supposed to be sometime of March of this year. Now, with the studio closings, the canceled projects by Ubisoft, and delayed projects as well, we believe, as far as content creators, we believe that Assassin's Creed, there's nothing confirmed, but we believe one of the major projects they were working on was Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, and we believe it could be towards the end of this year, but most likely March of next year. So, take it with a grain of salt. There's no release date yet. Ubisoft is just now letting us know that this is actually confirmed. Now, Ubisoft has had, a rough go, and I've said this, and here's why. They brought in Skull and Bones, which was a quadruple A game that they were trying to ride the coattails of the original Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It did not take. Then they got very progressive with the likes of Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. They more or less really screwed the pooch on that one, bringing in a massive development team on Shadows that had really no experience on any video games at all. And it allowed these people to open the door to their own progressive messages. And guys, I've been hammered by people that, have tried to shill for the game and tell me, oh, it was a great game. It did great. It did wonderful. Well, obviously it didn't, because Ubisoft is in such a frantic state right now that they've got Tencent basically overlooking them, and rightfully so, because this Ubisoft is in such a world of hurt. And I really hate to say it, because obviously I love Ubisoft. I have them on my wall. To close out the video, what I would like to see in this remake, because, other things that we're going to see that we know for sure are more of an inventory system for Edward Kenway than we're used to. It'll be following a lot of the footsteps of what Valhalla and Odyssey did as far as the inventory that is given to Edward Kenway. Again, we know we're going to have RPG mechanics. There's a lot going on. What I would like to see, a little bit more weapon options. If you played Assassin's Creed Rogue, you got, I think, a little bit more options as far as, that was a copy and paste of Black Flag, but you did get a lot more options for Shay Cormac for swords and other weapons. So I want to see a larger weapon variety for Edward Kenway, and I'd like to see more armor varieties instead of just more or less dyeing them different colors. Yes, you could purchase outfits, and you had specific outfits you could get on islands, but I want to see more options as far as that's concerned. And I'd like to be able to customize Edward Kenway a little more. Obviously keep the same face, but maybe hair. Just more customization to give us a little bit more, to break up the monotony of the same rehearsed routine that we were used to in those games back in the day. Now, I'm not saying that those were bad games, because even though I like the RPG elements, I think I like the single player narrative without the RPG elements better, because that's what was founded and that's what made Assassin's Creed, the franchise, awesome. And I'd like to see a bit of ship customization, but I don't think I'll get any of these. These are just me spitballing on what I'd like to see. But guys, that's really all I had. I'd like to know what you guys think in the comment section. Will you be getting this game? Ubisoft really needs a win. They haven't made any money in 2024. They had their asses handed to them in 2025. To remake their most popular game, maybe ever, makes sense, and I will purchase it. I'm not sure I'll pre-order it, but I will purchase it. But I'd like to know, are you guys going to purchase this? Let me know in the comment section. But thank you so much for watching this video. Again, please feel free to subscribe to That's Fair Podcasting or Gaming Geeks Live, whatever channel you watch it on. Please like the video again, because you help me in that algorithm. And if you didn't do any of those and you just watched this rant, thank you so much. And to all you gamers and pirates out there, all love, and I'm outro.